Surprise! This week we're doing solo.
Woo!
No, we're not.
Suckers.
What did we quickly watch last night? Because we almost forgot to watch it over the weekend.
Cargo. Oh.
Cargo is something you just something you're giving an instruction.
Cargo. And then your phone vibrated.
Cargo. Which I don't know if it was always meant to be a Netflix film.
No, because when it came up on Netflix, we were like, what?
Just like that. Yeah, just exactly like that.
Yeah.
No, when we watched the trailer, I don't remember it being like, doom, showing the little Netflix logo or anything. I just remember it being a trailer. Maybe it isn't in other countries. Maybe we're getting... Maybe in America it's going to the cinema the same way
Maybe
that...
Annihilation did.
Yeah, very nice.
Oh, I'm so glad because as I said that, it just made something else pop in my head. Because as you went, I was thinking of something that goes, wah, wah, and I was like, what is that? And I just remembered it was Arrival because I always think of Arrival when I think of Annihilation. So, 3 birds.
Thank God you linked all
One
that.
stone. I know.
Yeah, we watched Cargo, which is from the it says the producers of who did Babadook.
Yeah.
Don't know how long that is. That had me a little bit interested.
Because it's Cinema Australia or Screen. What is it?
To do
Screen Australia. Something Australia.
It's a production company and it's Australian because obviously Babadook was Australian as well.
Yeah.
And quite low budget. I imagine this didn't have a huge budget either.
No, not a massive.
Because they didn't show masses. Because what was quite interesting, they skipped over a lot of bits.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that it's because they didn't have masses of budget, or they just didn't want it. Like a lot of the kind of, you won't go straight into spoilers.
No.
This is a weird. I thought this last night. This could be potentially our second last episode for a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe forever. Until we obviously get big and we make fortunes off of the episodes we've already released, obviously. For our second last episode, we're talking about zombie films.
Yeah.
Or reforming the zombie genre, as I put it. So
but that's okay because it's so huge at the moment.
Yeah, it's quite big. Again,
oversaturated, you might say. Oversaturated, overly saturated.
Compared to other genres, I don't think zombies as a thing is...
Yeah, I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Massively.
Why do you think it's oversaturating it?
Everything's zombies.
Do you feel like we get a lot of zombie films at the cinema? I don't feel like we have masses of zombie stuff.
Maybe not so much at the cinema, but I'm not just talking about films either.
Well, no, TV, but that's just because The Walking Dead's still going.
Well, yeah, there's The Walking Dead, and then
Fear the Walking Dead,
and then you've got Walking Dead games, and then you've got what is it? Undead? No.
State of Decay 2 just came out this week.
Yeah.
I think it was this week or last week. That's quite big.
Yeah, and then you've got this, and then you've got.
Is it A Way Out? No, that's the prison one we keep talking about. What's the one? The other one that's got the biker-looking dude that's got zombies and it's gone from my head.
The what dude?
The biker-looking dude. That zombie game that's coming out, so they keep talking about.
Got that, and then you've got what's the one that we just watched that we will talk about?
Ravenous. And
then you've got the one where Cured. I love how you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, there is quite a lot.
There's loads.
But what's interesting is they're trying to do it differently.
Or there's like a virus, or I think it's zombies and like a post-apocalyptic thing.
Do you reckon it's a statement on the social or the political status at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's like a huge reaction to everyone being terrified all the time.
And guns.
Yeah. Because I know it normally comes out with in a zombie sort of genre, like an End of Days, and it is normally a virus or some sort of contagion. But I don't think it's just that people are afraid of that. And this one was very interesting. We'll go into why, but this one I found really interesting because it.
All the ones we've watched recently have had a
gave more of a.
Which is what we're going to be talking about, really. So about reforming it is that it's not just like there's zombies and they're going to attack you. There's more of a statement to them.
There's one massive thing in this film that I'll talk about in spoilers, but there's one particular thing that had they changed that, this would have been like I would have thought this film was really, really, really good.
I feel like I might know what you're going to say.
Yeah, I think you might.
If there was chickens in it.
Yes. You always know.
Alright, none spoilers then. Spoiler free stuff.
Oh, I thought that was what we just did. God, you're killing me
here. We didn't talk
here.
about the film, we just talked about stuff in general.
We can talk
Nice.
about non-spoilers, but if you want non-spoilers, don't bother watching
Piss
the trailer.
off. You can
No,
say.
get out and listen to someone else's bloody podcast. No, don't watch the trailer because
If you haven't
God's
already,
sake,
yeah.
like the first 45 minutes were pretty much ruined because
I enjoyed
of
the
the
first
trailer.
half of this film more than the second half.
Did you?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm.
I feel like I got distracted halfway through for like 5 minutes, and that threw me off a bit.
Mm.
I don't know. Yeah, if you haven't already, don't watch the trailer because it does sort of. It doesn't need to tell you that information
No.
to get you watching this because
No.
it isn't. It does it like that's what the plot of the film is, but it's not entirely because it takes
No,
about
it
40
isn't.
minutes to get to that point.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I mean the first sort of 40 minutes were ruined because I was like, oh.
Yeah. And
Well,
now
I
we've just
know-
ruined it from if
I
you've
know
watched the
yeah,
trailer.
I know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You-
no, we
you-
haven't
you'd know that
because
anyway.
you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try and go into this blind. But we say if any film, try and go into it blind because watching anything for it will spoil something.
Especially nowadays, you've got trailers for trailers for trailers.
I fucking hate that, honestly. When you have like a trailer and
I
then it
know.
goes straight into.
Like a 5-second advert for the trailer. I think because the trailer is almost like an add-on to the film these
why
days,
does it
isn't
do
it?
it on trailers on YouTube? It's like
I know.
it
It's
goes.
so
If I'm,
annoying.
I literally type in to watch the trailer and then it gives us 5 seconds of that trailer before that.
Mm.
I don't know why they connect them. Surely that isn't how they show it when they
It's
show
such
a
a
trailer.
shame because it's just the way everything is now. Is that you won't. The sad thing is that you can say it would be so much better if they didn't show you that much and they just showed like 30 seconds of a film and that's it and that's all you knew going in. But people wouldn't go and watch it and then they can't make the films because they've got no money.
If that's how it is with the trailers, then fuck those people.
Well, yeah, no, I know.
Because
but
I prefer.
I know, but they're at the end of the day, they're studios. They have to make money to keep making films.
Well, I
I'd
don't
rather
care.
just not
I'm
watch
joking.
the trailer
Yeah, just
myself.
be on our
And
own-
then,
yeah,
exactly.
that
Just
makes
be your
sense.
own
We can't, it's
censor.
exciting.
God.
But that's why I said.
Sorry.
But every time we watch a trailer for an indie film, we stop it after about 50 seconds.
Yeah.
We're like, that's enough.
It's
there.
when there's that. It's almost like the key change in a song. It's like you just need. There's always that
Stop, yeah.
turning point where the music gets like a little bit faster, or there's some sort of like.
Well, they start showing all
pause.
of the film, and
No, but I'm saying it's always at that point, isn't there?
yeah.
I wish all trailers just went up to the music change and then they just stopped.
I'm trying to think of good trailers now, like teaser trailers.
Oh.
The Blade Runner 2049 trailer would have had me
That
at
was
the
great.
first teaser where it's just him
Yeah.
walking in.
Yeah,
But like times were simpler than
Yeah.
that little bit.
yeah,
That's
that was
true
really
for
neat. And
it.
he pressed the little piano key.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was perfect.
The little piano key. He had a small little piano in front of him.
Like those little cats on YouTube with their tiny pianos. That would have been so
I don't know
good.
about cats with little pianos.
Yeah,
They're usually on full-size pianos.
are they?
The cats I've seen are on full-size pianos, and I know my
Oh, I
cats on
swear they're
pianos.
on tiny keyboards.
No, they're tiny cats on big keyboards.
Oh.
Amateur. Yeah. Yeah. So with Ravenous, we watched the trailer for Ravenous, didn't
And we stopped it.
And then we stopped it because it was showing
I can't
too
remember the
much
last
of
trailer we
Ravenous.
watched the whole way through, to be honest.
Infinity War, probably.
Yeah, because we watched
Anything
that
big.
alone.
Well, actually, no. It's superhero trailers we always do because, I mean, they're spoiled anyway. And the hype's half the excitement for those. Anyway.
Yeah. And Solo we watched the whole way through.
Should we just jump into spoilers? Because you can go and watch
Yay.
this easy. You don't need it on spoiler one. Go watch it. It's still good to go watch. It's easy. It's not too long of
Yeah.
a film. It's
No.
easy to watch.
And it's good.
It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Go watch it for Martin Freeman's performance.
Yeah. Oh, God,
Yeah,
he's
fine.
good.
Yeah, he's good.
He is so
When
good.
he's not putting in his Wakanda accent, check when he's putting his American accent
Yeah.
on.
That,
When
that
he's not
is
your
a
token
killer.
white guy.
It is though, isn't it? I'm telling you, that's what I always say. I know I say it probably every single week, and I know I say it every single week, but it is an absolute killer. It kills a performance. Bad accent. Just do it in your own
Especially
accent.
if you
And
fucking you can't stand
I
that.
can't stand it. I really can't. It ruins films for me. And that man in the car outside. He's come
Ruins
to
his
tell
podcast.
us. It ruins it for me too. It's a performance. Yeah, and also they always say, oh, but they had to be American because they were in America, or they had to be this because they were there. This is all set in Australia.
Yeah.
He's the only one with an English accent, and it did not bother me.
No.
I wasn't like, well, why is he
Clearly he
English
moved out
if he's
there.
in Australia? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's just moved there, which is fine.
Stuff.
You can
It's quite
normally-
funny. Although the only thing that stands out with this
explain away.
film
Yeah.
is that because of that,
Yeah.
I should have said that. Because of him only being the only English dude in this film,
Yeah.
I find it really like it's like Rey in Star Wars. and, like,
Jarring. It is. I know.
yeah, Especially when you have, and I said to you,
Which
what
is
makes me
strange,
laugh.
isn't it? Because I understand totally what you mean, but that's our accent. It should sound normal to us, but it doesn't.
It doesn't, because I'm not used to hearing it so much on TV.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a bit jarring because of that. But also, I said to you, it's quite funny, the Australian accent, because when his wife was talking,
Yeah.
that doesn't always happen, because the kid in Deadpool 2 didn't sound weird, or like he was from Neighbours.
He's from New Zealand.
Yeah, but he still was like, I mean, it's probably quite bad. The accents are quite different, but still, it's the similar accent.
Yeah.
I mean, when she was talking, I don't know why, it sounded like she was doing really bad acting, because she sounds like she was in Neighbours.
I know what
I
you
think
mean.
it's just because of the Australian
I do know
accent.
what you mean, yeah.
But it just made me laugh when they were talking, because he was jarring, and then she made me think I was watching Neighbours for the first 15
I
minutes.
understand what you mean. Yeah.
But then the girl didn't sound funny. Maybe it was just her voice, because the girl didn't sound funny in it.
No.
Nor did anyone else.
No.
It's just her. Maybe it's just the way she was acting.
I think you might be right, yeah. I've seen her in stuff, and I can't think what. Let me
That's-
IMDb her while we
I
continue.
found their relationship a bit weird, if I'm honest.
I didn't buy it totally.
No, I don't know why. It's not.
I bought it on his side, not so much on hers.
The first half out. I mean, I like the first. Like I said, I for some reason enjoyed the first half of the film. I think maybe because it was a bit more sort of like what's going on here, and then it feels like the world. You kind of settle into the world, and when he got to the point where he met the fucking psycho guy, Vic, I was a bit more like. It got a bit more sort of original, but then at the same time I was a bit more like, it doesn't feel suspenseful. They didn't use zombies much in this, which is good.
Which I loved,
Because you don't need, because like you said, because it's obviously an easy thing to fight, and there was...
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. But I've just typed in cargo, and you said at the start, it sounded like I said cargo, and the first thing that's come up is cargo.
Cargo.
What is it?
God,
What is that? It was only last
Sounds like
year.
a kids program
Anyway.
or a film.
Oh, it's Melissa Joan Hart. That will do it. Sabrina. Teenage Witch. Anyway, yeah, they didn't use zombies much. Which, yeah, no. I thought it was
which is good because...
Oh, I can say now what I was going to say for the spoilerness.
Go for it.
Had they either shown no zombies or shown zombies that just looked like normal people and weren't doing that weird broken bone walk, I think this would have been like a different class.
I'm
not saying like a different class, like it's the best film ever, but I mean
shaking.
it would have made this film.
If they were going to have them walking funny, they should have used what happens when they're turning, which is where that like weird vibrating, like where they go where they do the kind of like shaking when they're turning.
When they're having seizures, yeah.
They should have done that. They should have. Imagine if they were always walking like that.
Yeah.
You get your actors to do that. Just walk like you're having a seizure.
Shaking.
That'd be really cool.
Great idea. Yeah, just
if you're going to show them.
anything different. And you know, I really thought because they weren't showing them at the start, and they made it like really like an illness and something that they were giving out those kits for, which I loved as well. I love that they gave you like a little
Clearly it took
a
quite a while
happy
to
man
get going.
just taking his shooting
How
his
did it
brains
spread
out with the
then?
thing.
It's really interesting the way they took it with how it didn't spread straight away. Because I mean it did. I mean, obviously it wasn't a like instant state of panic because they had the kits, like you said, they had like all these.
And they'd clearly
kits.
like even been going and throwing them into the river and stuff because there's loads floating around, wasn't there?
I mean, unless they got dropped somewhere from the river. I know what you mean. That was weird that there was loads in the river.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird then because you have to try and imagine how this world worked. Like you said, how is there functioning hospitals?
Yeah.
Because they say I was about going to the hospital.
There wasn't though, really, was there? She said, "Oh, that's like an overstatement." When he got to that lady, and she said it was an overstatement. It's like it's not really much left.
It's interesting, but yeah, you have to wonder how it took time for it to get this bad, and why it wasn't an outbreak and suddenly. It kind of strange that it wasn't suddenly a problem.
Yeah.
But then it could. But then if it wasn't a problem, it had time to build these kits. How did it ever become as bad as it did?
Well, I think it's like anything; it just spreads.
But it wasn't airborne or anything. It was you have to get a bit.
Yeah.
But if it's bites, then you think they would have prepared.
Yeah.
In the time that they built those kits.
Yeah.
It's just strange. I'd be more interested to see
though,
the
I think
past.
they were like deliberately in a really remote part of the world, weren't they? It's not like it was a built up.
No, but they still had the kits and stuff. And we don't have much. I mean, this is one of those films where I would have liked to have learnt more about what had happened.
I'm surprised you say that because
usually I don't.
because I think if they'd overly explain stuff, you'd say I don't need them to tell me that. I just want
if it was obvious stuff, but with the world, I would have not like
but I like
not with
that
the
you
zombies.
can make your own.
Yeah. But like with Ravenous, but then it was with Ravenous. You said that you wished, if spoilers for Ravenous, if you haven't watched it.
Yeah.
Not massive spoilers, so don't worry too much if you're not too bothered. With Ravenous, you said that you would like to have seen more of the stuff like when they were building like chairs up.
Yeah.
Whereas I was like, well, I'd rather we didn't, because that's just an interesting, and I can make my own idea of that. But with this, I mean, I would have been interested to know.
Yeah.
Because whatever with the chair building in Ravenous, I would have been.
I know what you mean, but
that there's not really.
But that would have been very hand-holdy if they had said, "This is why the kits are there, and this is exactly how it's spread."
Well, no, I know, but like even just like, but you didn't even need to like go into full detail and give me an explanation. Just like hints at why it took time. Like,
I don't know.
And obviously the digging and stuff, because it was to do with the water. We learnt that a little bit.
Yeah.
Did we learn, or did we make assumptions on that?
It said.
Water? Well, you read about
when it said frack off, I said, "Oh, I think is." What I actually did was, fracking. Because it was obviously on that that site where they had been like pumping the water down. Huh?
It was on a flag.
It was on like a little
like
a little card, like a placard thing that was like on a fence of obviously one of the sites where they were fracking. But yeah, people were worried about that obviously. And that's why I really liked it, because it sort of was a direct sort of like link to something that's actually happening. It's really scary.
Which I've never heard of. Clearly, it's probably quite a big thing in Australia.
Yeah.
If it's in this, because this is what the film's mainly about, or has a message of,
yeah.
which I love. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
With the outbreak, I would just like to have known.
Yeah.
A little bit more about it, just because it seems weird that because I couldn't really size up the world.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
They said a lot of people return to the old ways as well.
Yeah.
And that's obviously when they went a bit, like, it was the Aboriginals.
Yeah.
Is it Aboriginals or Aborigines?
I don't know. And it's, what's Indigenous as well?
Indigenous?
Yeah.
Well, Indigenous is sort of, I don't know how to explain it.
Oh.
Google it.
Okay.
Indigenous I thought was sort of like old ways as well.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Kind of. Well, we're ending the podcast there.
Well, we're done anyway. We have nothing more to say. What's I going to say? Yeah, I know what you mean. I do know what you mean, and I do agree, because I always want to know. I'm probably not as... Oh, I want to make my own decision with that. But, yeah, I would have liked it. No, I was just trying to decide whether I would or I wouldn't have liked more.
Not masses,
but I would.
But
no, I know what you mean. But then I guess that's good, because it's just... It's interesting, isn't it?
I enjoyed this film, but I'll be honest with the plot. I wasn't sure about how it went along. It was steady, but it was also quite.
I've just read on here. Somebody said Cargo looks like an Australian Children of Men. Totally get that.
Yeah.
Get that vibe.
It's the whole father and daughter, father with a bit of a beard.
Here we are. Originating in and characteristic of a particular region or country, native, often followed by the plants indigenous to Canada, the indigenous people of southern Africa. So yeah, it's like something that's natural to your particular area. So yeah, but yeah, they were returned to the old ways, which I thought was really that's something I really really liked about it. And I liked I love the kits and how they sort of explained how you were going to turn. They were obviously giving out those little like watches, like Fitbits. With like your count.
It's just, you know what I mean about like how weird is that if made those? It's really cool, but then again, I mean like the time that you've spent making these kits, but it's just so strange how they were handling the outbreak, and like you'd want to, like I said, you want to see how they've done all of that.
But I guess then you could say, but it's like anything though, isn't it? If there's a virus going around, like they started sending out masks or like those sort of like smog masks that look like, you know, when people having operations and they go and the doctors go into theatre and they put those little masks on. Like they send those out if there's like a heavy fog risk or smog risk even. And
yeah, no, but I mean this is like like, I mean, what I mean is how close this is, that it's like, because what I mean is, because the thing with zombie films is
what is it that you wanted to know? How slowly it was spreading, or
well, just how it ended up becoming post-apocalyptic, how everyone died.
But I don't think everyone has died.
Well, no, I know, but that's what I mean. We don't see a lot of people out there.
No.
But we don't know how many. I'm just saying, like, because obviously this is kind of like a post-apocalyptic world. But how did it get that bad? Is what I'm saying. If they must have had at least a year of it happening to do all those kits and stuff to actually manufacture all of that.
Yeah.
And be prepared like that. And
I
have all
think
that stuff
that
done.
but I think they were from quite a long time ago. I don't think they're new things. Yeah, I think they've been around for.
What, they built those before?
I think they did though. I think when it started to get bad, they started to give out all those kits, and they're just around.
But also,
now.
I mean, we never know how much time has passed since the world was the world.
Well, quite a while.
Because.
But
then if that's true, do you think they had the baby after the outbreak then?
Yeah.
Because the baby isn't very old.
Yeah, I think they had it after.
Well, they're fucking idiots. They're not.
Well, yeah. Or she was pregnant.
It's like fucking A Quiet Place all over again.
Yeah, but people would carry on having children.
Yeah. I was just I'm interested to know.
But
I think the zombie films,
I took from it, and the fact that like Vic had time, they'd clearly been settled there for quite some time to have built that little No, not on that. No, Vic. When they were in those like shipping container things, and they'd like made a little house out of that and stuff. They'd clearly been there for quite a while.
Well, at least a year.
Yeah.
Probably did that.
And I think those kits were probably made as like a first response sort of thing. Like if the worst does happen, like this is what you're gonna get, and this is. Yeah, but I think that and the way they were sort of like washing about in the river, it's not like they've just been distributed there. I think they've been floating there for quite a while because they were in waterproof boxes and stuff, weren't they?
Yeah, but I don't know why. But they wanted they just sort of fallen out somewhere into the river by chance. I don't know where they come from. They weren't near anything, were they?
No, but I guess they might have just dropped them or something. I don't know.
I don't. It's just. I don't know. I just wanted to know more about it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing you don't. I just would have liked to have, because I think with zombie films they either show you the start of the outbreak. Well, okay, World War Z is one of the only ones that has like made been quite smart with how as soon as the outbreak happens, how it goes to shit quite quick. But a lot of zombie films, because the zombies are walkers, which annoys me. Like I said, they should be they should be able to run. They should be able to sprint. Because they only walk. The ones where the zombies that tend to be really shit don't ever show when it first kicked off for very long. Because I think there's the whole massive like plot hole in how could that ever take over the world when there's guns and there's like military forces. Like how could that possibly end society?
But I mean, if you think of like, what were we watching with the Black Death yesterday?
Game Theory.
Yeah. That was like a third.
But that's like
a
airborne.
third of the population.
Yeah, I know, but the difference is what I'm saying is when they can only bite you to infect you.
Yeah.
That's harder to infect someone than airborne. If it was, I'm saying, if it's airborne, then you would be fucked. We would be fucked.
Yeah.
Like especially, like you said,
but
a great deal.
Look at The
because
Walking Dead. Isn't that just biting, or is that airborne too?
Spoilers for Walking Dead, if you wanna give a shit. But
I thought
it's airborne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
but you don't
airborne?
turn straight away. It's basically because they bite. If they get bitten, obviously they turn straight away. If it's airborne, as soon as they die, however way they turn. It's just a way.
Such bullshit.
Yeah, but it's just a way to
make
it interesting, wasn't it?
What a stupid thing to do.
Yeah, it's good revealing the comics, but yeah, that's just it's already basically, but they explain it quite well.
So basically, you will turn when you die.
Yeah, it's explained quite well in the
turn
comics.
quicker.
The TV show, it's okay. I will defend it in that as much as the show's gone to shit. Is that like the whole idea is you're already infected, and so when you turn, it's sort of like it reboots you kind of thing as that.
Okay.
Unless you sort of get a quick reboot, which is obviously when you get bitten.
That's a very convenient.
Yeah, of course it
thing,
is. Of course it is. It's just, but then it works quite nicely in the Telltale game because one of the best bits in that is when that girl's dad gets fucked and then they starts turning.
Yeah. No, I know that is good. That is good. Yeah.
But yeah, but what I mean is like if it's just like bites by slow fucking walkers, then that's never gonna beat the world. Because and that's why they never show stuff. Like I said, it's quite nice that they're on boats in this because I was like, that's going to be the obvious thing is to go out on a boat or go at the top of a fucking building because then they have to get a long way up. Yeah. Like there's places to get. There's a lot of safer places to go from zombies.
Oh no, I know, and I think that's probably why they set it where they set it because if it was in a city, I think maybe like a quarter of people maybe would have died, but the rest are probably still alive. But this was like obviously it was just rural. There was nothing really around, and there were people like everywhere he went. There were people.
Yeah.
So it's not like he didn't bump into anybody. Like people were living, and actually saying that. The only people that we know really
we saw zombies. The only people that we really know died were the girl's dad
because she was like keeping him with that stick in his mouth so he couldn't bite.
Yeah.
And then the ones in the woods, but he was obviously luring them in so they could have come from miles away. And then
You weren't a great friend, no.
the only other ones was the woman that Vic was like acting like was his wife but wasn't. She said that he trapped them all in a I can't remember where they were, like a gas station or something, I can't remember. But she said that he trapped them all in there.
I don't remember her saying that.
Yeah.
Smart move.
Or he left them behind to like he left them all to die. So
I
that
could tell you from the first minute he was on screen, sorry, he was going to be bad.
Yeah, yeah. But she looked flipping terrified straight away. You were like,
He kept like kissing. She was like,
yeah.
They focused a bit too much on it. Not terribly.
I agree with that. It was a little bit too over the top, that relationship. It was like, I didn't need it to be sort of shoved in my face that something was wrong there.
I don't mind him going to kiss her, but don't put it at the centre of the camera and focus on that for some. And then show Martin Freeman reacting to it. And
it immediately, just as soon as you met them, it felt off. You didn't put them together.
Yeah. Although she felt a little off, to be fair.
Yeah, I wasn't sure her. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say they could have come from like anywhere.
Yeah.
And I guess there isn't many. And I like the fact that they're not a threat, because I don't think they would be a threat. They're walking and they're stupid. Yeah. But then that annoys me a bit at the start, how she gets bitten. His wife gets bitten. Because she goes down to the boat. Because that bit looked really stupid. That's the only thing of that bit. It really looked...
The way she got
really,
pulled back down. Yeah, it looked like a
bad... If they're not 80s. That strong and they're that slow, why does she go... Wah! Get pulled back? Like,
but I guess though, if you're climbing up and something pulls you down, you would.
But they don't pull, do they? They would bite, so it would just go like that and bite, because they don't even use their arm. Like the whole film sort of just displays them as using just their teeth. They don't really use their arms, do they? They sort of go out of their teeth. So why would you?
I don't know.
Just get
no, they work.
It just didn't need to pull it down, like so it looks cheap and it looks like an 80s film of her just going back down. Into the boat.
I just wouldn't have had her pulled down at all.
A bit.
Or just had her in there. Oh God, why did you just do that? That looked really scary. You just looked at me and then widened your eyes and then went back to normal.
Do you know why? Because I was just thinking what could happen instead of which would looked cool, and then I actually acted it out.
Oh my God, that's horrible. I thought you'd been taken over. Please never do that again. This is what you did. You went like this. So scary.
I was going to say.
I would have just had, you had him looking in the, like, at that cupboard and something made a noise and then he left.
Was it a cupboard or was it another room?
I think it was.
Doors to another room.
I think it looked to me like, where they have like a bed, but it's in like basically in a cupboard, but it's like another room. Yeah, it looked like that to me. But anyway, and he looked, and then when he came out, you said, "I bet he's been bitten," and then they just skipped over it. And I said, "No, I don't think they have." I would have done that again with her, but then she had been bitten. You didn't need to see anything because we weren't sure whether he'd been bitten, and then do it again. That would have been even better.
Some bits, didn't they? They skipped over a bit when was she going ape shit, and then they skipped forward to when it was calm again.
Yeah.
There was a few bits where it sort of just jumps. I was just saying, this is why I just widened my eyes at you and scared the shit out of you, is because I was just thinking in my head, instead of having her pulled down and throwing her arms up and going, ah! Wouldn't it have been better if it just showed her climbing and then her, like, when you could see her face, she just sort of went.
Yeah.
And, like, you heard, like, and, like, instead of, like, reacting, she just went, like, went all kind of, like, freaked out, and then it cut.
I don't know.
Or not anything, like you said, just subtlety, not go, ah!
Only because if you're bitten, I don't think you're going to be like, I think you'd be like, ah! Yeah.
Anyway, it should have been more, like, a lot more subtle than it was. And because, again, like you said, so it's probably been a while since the world has, like, since they've had to be dealing with these. They're fucking stupid. She's stupid at start.
We loved it on the boat, though, didn't we? We were glad that someone finally realised that the best place to be is probably on the river.
On a boat. Yeah. And then they were a little bit when they went into a yacht and then heard noises and they turned away from it and she panicked a bit and tried to walk off.
I think it was good that because obviously it was a bit annoying because he says, "Oh no, it's completely safe. Like it's a one-man job and it's fine. Don't worry."
Yeah.
But I kind of like that because obviously he never thought she was going to go over there. He just said it so that like because he knew that it wasn't that safe and that he was just trying to sort of be like, "Oh, don't worry. Like honestly, it was absolutely safe." But obviously she believes him a bit too much and then she goes over there. But I quite like that he wasn't like.
It was a decent setup. I just you know what I mean, just how she acted when she was over there again.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, it looked rubbish the way she got pulled down.
That's when it cut, didn't it? And it cut to her being back on the other boat.
I like that because I was worried that she was just either going to be dead over there, or he'd be like, oh, where is she? And like, I was just fully expecting him to look over to the yacht and be like, no, 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 no. But no, but she was already back, which I really liked. Cause she, yeah.
The acting in this is really weird, isn't it? Like in
What
parts, like the acting, like the reactions to stuff in this are quite strange. So that when she's bitten and she's in the and he finds her, like tagging on to what you were just saying, and then he finds her and he's going, what have you done? What have you done? And there's a razor floss, so if this she's cut herself.
Yeah.
And then he sees that she's bitten.
Yeah.
But the reaction's really minor. Like I like it because he doesn't go no, this can't be happening. He's like, oh fuck, okay. He's like, okay. He looks and goes, oh shit, what's happened? And he's like, okay. I think that does he shout then, or does he just shout with himself? Because he kind of.
I absolutely
the reactions to stuff are really
love
strange.
that bit. I didn't think that was. I thought that was absolute genius the way he did that.
I mean, I don't mean strange negatively. I just mean strange because you don't usually see it. Because it was
I know. It wasn't dramatic. I loved it because it was like you saw that he realised that she'd been bitten, but he like wasn't going to deal with that then.
Yeah.
It was like he was like.
That's what I mean. His reactions to the way that she was.
Yeah.
Were kind of like it was normal, like a normality. Not in a bad way. I'm saying it was interesting how their relationship was because he.
I didn't think it was normal. Sorry, I feel like I'm just disagreeing with you constantly. Okay, it's not that.
No, I'm saying it's not. I mean, that it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's not normal. Like the way that he reacted to her made it seem really strange with the relationship because he didn't freak out at any point. It was like, you can do this. He wasn't like comforting her in that sense. It was kind of like,
almost like I'm going to ignore that and I'm not dealing with that. And it was almost like he knew it was happening, but like was not going to believe it then and there. And it was only when she said it had fingers, he was like, fuck!
Yeah.
That he like accidentally like let a bit of emotion slip out.
And then when he got
God, he's good in this.
And then he got bitten, he freaks out. His face when he does that as well is interesting. When he's outside the car and he's bitten, he's lying against the car, he's and he's just shot his wife. No, he stabs her, which bit is really strangely done because the noise doesn't line up with what he does. And I can't work out how he's doing it.
Yeah,
he goes like shing, but he like.
I think
it's not when
it's
he
the
does
little because he presses a button and the blade comes out, but it doesn't line quite. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
it doesn't
it
quite line
strange.
up. Yeah, it lines up with that thing, the little device that is in the kit. It's going, but it doesn't line up with how he does it. Maybe it does, and we missed it. But I know. Maybe
it does, but I thought he was going like that, and it didn't line up with him moving his arm. So. And then he obviously goes.
You don't have to move your arm though, because you.
No. That's what I mean. I forgot it was a button. I thought you had to stab it in.
Right.
Yeah, and he lies against the side of the car and he's absolutely fucked. He's just killed his wife, but his reaction then is really contained.
Yeah.
And he screams once, but it's like it looks like a dog. Like he sort of goes, oh, and then looks the other way again. You got his reaction's really strange.
Yeah.
Again, not in a bad way. It's good because it builds more of a character because he doesn't look like everyone else in this kind of zombie film.
He is so good. He's so good.
What would you give this out of 10? Not that I'm saying we're going to stop talking about this now, but I just thought let's do it now because we're mixing with other zombie films.
Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe a.
I'm just going to say
it's
straight
hard.
8.
I was going to say 8. I was going to say 8 overall 8, but with if I'm taking his performance like into consideration, then like more like a 9. Not because the film's that good, but because he is that good.
Performance is good.
He's just so good. Everything I want him to do, he does, and then does like extra stuff that I'm not expecting. He's just so amazing.
Isn't it weird when you see some in films and suddenly they have really great hair?
I'm gonna guess like 46, 47.
His hair, like his hairness is very grey, which is funny.
I know it's funny, isn't it?
Although he is as in Black Panther, he's grey, isn't he?
Yeah. But his hair looks more like white grey in this. I think that's why. Martin Freeman is. Oh, nailed it. He's 46.
You're a creep.
I always know people's ages. So creepy.
You're being a weirdo.
So creepy. But no, he's just. Yeah.
Massive thing in common with this and with Ravenous, like you said, was there was interesting little lore things about the zombies.
Yeah.
Wait, do they call them zombies? What do they call them in this?
Diggers.
Which
I loved.
I do, but it's just like the only thing I find with zombie films are these all worlds that don't have zombie films in them.
Why?
Because they're zombies and no one calls them zombies.
I don't think you would call them zombies.
If we got attacked now,
yeah.
I call them the undead or I call them zombies.
I don't know.
Same, but it would be the same.
But
put
it would be what they were starting to get called on the news, and I doubt the news would call it zombies.
But then what would it? Because it was interesting, isn't it? Even if you wouldn't, isn't it interesting that if you got bit by someone with fangs on the neck and they couldn't go out in the daylight, you'd call them a vampire.
Yeah.
Even though you wouldn't be like, oh, it's offensive to call them a vampire, because that's what you'd know from TV.
I don't think they care.
no, but I'm saying, like, it's funny because with zombies, you say about, oh, it seems like weird if you'd actually call them zombies in real life, but then it's funny because if you saw a man turn into a fucking wolf, you'd call him a werewolf.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which just makes me laugh because I don't know if there's any zombie films exist in these worlds, and if so, then they should be more prepared.
I should, yeah. I would be.
What was I going to say? Yeah, what's interesting about the lore with these zombies, like, Ravenous obviously was the weird, like, sort of praying. It wasn't even praying, it was building. I forgot what it's called. Worshipping, yeah, it was sort of worshipping. They all stood around and worshipped. Were they doing anything, or were they just stood there watching? But they built up, like, chairs.
Yeah.
Fuck knows how they did that in Ravenous. How do they get those chairs that high? Because they can't really do much. Although they weren't really entirely zombies in that film, were they? They stood normal because they were more like crazy people because the mum stood with the daughter.
In that as well?
Yeah, they could.
Yeah.
And they could run, and also they didn't look crooked all the time. Do you not remember that? And they laughed as well. They were just like psychos as opposed to.
I preferred that.
You still need to watch the Crazies. I think I like the Crazies.
Yeah, I think I would too.
Because that's psycho people.
I love zombie films. Like, I'm not saying it's not overly saturated, but I still love them.
I'm not bored of it because we don't watch. Because like I said, even though it's oversaturated, we don't watch them all the time. Like it's rare for us to watch zombie films.
Yeah.
And when we do, so we keep watching ones that are a bit different.
I think it feels oversaturated as well because you had things like, it's 28 Days Later. They're zombies, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
they were the first running ones. I
think it's because you had that and it was so huge, and then ever since then there's been a hell of a lot more than there used to be. So I think that's why it feels.
It's just you say that. I don't know if there was. I think there's more from the 80s than there is now. I think there's a lot more zombie flicks.
I know, but what I mean is like a lot more people tried to like recreate something like that, like 28 Days Later, and they've totally like. Yeah, and obviously The Walking Dead is huge and but yeah. Have you seen Contagion?
No.
There's no zombies in that. People just flat out at night die, but
it's a short film.
Everyone's dead in the first 9 minutes. It's just silence for the rest. No, but it's good because it kind of has that sort of feel about it.
What feel about it?
Like. Sort of post-apocalyptic, like on its way to being post-apocalyptic because so many people are dying, but there's no zombies, so it feels like this because obviously they're trying to find a cure and what is causing it and blah blah blah, but no one's coming back to life, but it feels really similar, but there's not that many films like that, and I really enjoy that.
I wish they went more into the
You
science.
haven't seen it? Did you just say you haven't seen it? We should watch that. I think you'd actually like that.
Let's do a zombie day.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It's not a zombie film, but I always have it in my head as that sort of film, just because it's something that's contagious and
disease film.
Yeah,
it's a horrible name for a genre. Disease film.
Disease films. There's no films about the Black Death, is there really?
Probably. We just wouldn't have.
No, like good mainstream ones.
You can make some good horror films about that. Let's do it. Make some shorts about it.
It gives me chills thinking about that. It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, as I was saying with Ravenous about the chairs,
Yeah.
in this film there's a few things you learn about the zombies that are different, like the fact that one, they stick their heads in the ground, which didn't explain, but it doesn't explain the chairs in Ravenous, it was to do with the digging, wasn't it?
I said I think it's meant to be some sort of like parallel with fracking.
Maybe they drink the water, maybe they're just swans.
Well, they said...
maybe they try... If you had your head in
it makes
that far, would you be able to get water? I think that's pretty deep enough for that. Do you reckon? Not loads of water, but the soil must be wet a little bit underneath.
Fracking is where they're pumping water and, I don't know, some sort of gas down to fracture.
Because you said that the water is probably
I'm saying, but
infected.
it contaminates the groundwater.
Yeah.
So
do you reckon in their heads they can reach groundwater?
Maybe.
When they dig their heads in and they're trying to drink more of it.
Or maybe they can't, but they're just trying to. And you'd die after you got your head in, wouldn't you? It would suffocate you. So maybe that's why.
They don't know, I don't think, do they?
They look like none of them were moving with their heads in. I know some of them were burnt, but
were they hibernating? Because they said they need the dark for hibernation. They had their heads against the wall, so is that them hibernating?
So
that's what I was about to say about with the chairs. Is in this they hibernate, and they don't respond when they're hibernating.
No.
That bit when they were hibernating in the tunnel
Mm.
looked a bit silly, is what I'll say, because he was like Vic, and then he ran and hid next to him. He stood out so much when it was shot
I know.
behind.
If it had been like pitch dark in there and you could only just see, I would have been like, oh, that's a clever idea. But he had like this bright grey hair,
and he wasn't shaking like the
No,
others
he
either.
wasn't shaking. He wasn't moving, and he also is like 5'0". So no, he's 5'6". I just saw it on his IMDb page.
If at that point he'd looked more infected and had that shit on him and was pretending he had already turned,
that would have been amazing. Yeah.
But he looked so clean compared to the rest of them.
I know.
He had a torch on him.
I know.
Was
I was even thinking like start wriggling a bit. Like look at what you're meant to be.
I said
also,
that. I remember he was
why was he in that tunnel? It was so
That
unlucky.
guy.
Yeah, just happened to be there.
Did he say about that tunnel towards the start? Do you reckon we missed something about that tunnel because he had his truck in there?
That makes sense actually. Why he would be there? Yeah, his truck was in there, but also he was getting them, wasn't he? And luring them out, so he probably knew where they were.
They might have slipped a sentence in that we missed about why he'd be in that tunnel. Otherwise, it was just coinkydinky that he was in there at the same time as them. He did. That was the worst way of dealing with him. Like I said, he shouted and then hid next to him, and that somehow kind of, I mean, it fucked him over a bit. Yeah. But he also got fucked. But that was dark with the baby. You said about the baby not liking that. He put his hand in her hair, like he was going to snap the baby's neck. And I was like, fucking, who wants their kid Nazi?
I know. I know his hand looked like he was quite rough on her hair, but I'm sure he wasn't.
No, but it's it looks strange.
I don't think that baby liked most of the stuff that was going on. He was crying the entire time.
I'd probably, as I say as well with this film, I'd probably be more impressed by it or like it more had I not had so many old man someone in the last year films or like last few years. As in like a man with a beard who will die at the end but will save the child. Yeah. Like that you say about zombies being oversaturated. Yeah. That is now, and in games obviously as well, we've just had God of War, which I don't care. I'm not gonna give a negative to that, but since The Last of Us, since that year, because I did
and
it.
Children of Men was way before.
Yeah, that's very true. That was the stuff, and The Road. There was like a pile of films like that, and then
it's a very like used concept, but.
They're usually very good. Whatever uses that concept is still pretty damn good.
I was going to say, but it's one that works because it's like what we were saying the other day about stuff. That it's nice because it doesn't always mean somebody just putting themselves in danger or sacrificing themselves to save a child. It's not always just about them saving the child. It's about like preserving innocence and I really like it as an idea, and it does like you say, it does normally. It normally works, and I think that's because also you like everyone can identify with that. Even if you don't have children, you know that you would put a child first. Like most good people, most people are gonna like identify with that and understand why somebody would do that, and that just makes it emotional.
Saying about this, there was a quote that you probably like that I saw the other day about one. I think it was the lead director, one of the women who works massively on the Tomb Raider games, said it's time for some badass woman now instead of like badass. She basically said I can't remember her exact words, but she basically said like because after God of War, obviously all the like how well that's doing. Yeah. The lead writer of Tomb, I think she was the lead writer or someone like to massively do of Tomb Raider. She said now it's time for she said it's time for some badass mums. Nice. Because I think it is a lot more badass dads. Yeah. And it tends to be, like I said, because Last of Us and Telltale's first series of Walking Dead. Yeah. And a lot of and then Bioshock Infinite came out within a few like consecutive years. Yeah. And they're all kind of dads looking after their daughters. Yeah. Or like daughter.
Which is interesting, isn't it? Because like in day-to-day like society, it's a lot about like, especially like, on social media and stuff, it's a lot about like mums are heroes, mums are the best.
Yeah, and like, dads tend to fuck off and stuff.
And dads, yeah. I mean, I like painted as
it's very rare for it to be the mum left and the dad's looking after him.
Yeah, the one that leaves and the one that doesn't turn up to like their soccer game. Yeah. But yeah.
I agree.
That was in that video yesterday as well. Was that in Game Theory was saying about like hundreds of years ago, like your dad would be off like in fighting in the Crusades, but like nowadays, if he doesn't turn up to like one football match, he's like the bad guy. That was so funny. That was really good. You're saying like it will warrant like a TV special made about how hard your life is. But that is true. Yeah. So it's interesting that then they choose to always make the dad like the kick-ass save the day hero.
I guess it's a masculine thing as well, isn't it? Though it's like and it's probably the writers, like I said, but a lot of the writers for these things might be more like mainly men, and that's why it's been men. But like I said, then it was the lead writer of Tomb Raider, which is obviously a female lead. Yeah, is saying that, which I totally agree with. That'd be wonderful if it was mums as well. Yeah, mums. There are badass mums. I mean, there is badass mums already and stuff. Yeah, that are kind of like that.
Incredibles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Incredibles. How to Train Your Dragon 2 jumped to my head a little bit.
She's not great.
She's not great.
She's not a great.
But she's
she's like, an interesting character. I mean, she's not a,
powerful character in terms of she's leading in it. And if
but
you
her being a mum is
not
not the good side of her character, is it? Halle Berry,
kidnapped. That's one. Zombie films, something like zombie films in the last year, or like in the last years that are starting to change it up. Which is this one that's not out yet. I think it was called Cured, wasn't it? Yeah. Which is a good idea. Which is such a good idea. That shouldn't be hard to execute.
No, but I feel like they're going to mess it up.
It's one of those ideas you've got that you want to. It's harder to mess up than to make it somewhat interesting. Yeah. Not amazing, but like at least somewhat interesting. But I'm worried that it's going to go to shit. Not just because it's Ellen Page and she's just some flatline. It's in that flatline, but because.
I just worry that it's going to try and be way too overcomplicated, and actually it's just such a great idea that you just need to just make...
You literally just have to
make
pitch
it be
a sentence,
what it is,
This film is about... Yeah. Or I want to make a film about people who are cured after being zombies. Yeah. Done. Yeah. And then make it somewhat of a good idea. Yeah. But instead it's... I'm worried... What worries me with that from the trailer that we watched, one, the trailer's too much, again. Yeah. But because... why... They look like they start turning again, or they get a bit murderous, or it looks like it has some action in it. Yeah. It's like, you don't need that. No. Make it interesting enough about how they feel. Give them like PTSD after being zombies, or like make them interesting and like maybe give them urges, but they look like they're going to turn back again, kind of. Yeah, I get really the impression that shit's going to go to shit.
And also, I think it's just one of those ideas where you need to go, right, just like calm down before you do anything, and just actually think about like, right, how would we actually behave if that had happened like in our society? Like, don't try and think like, okay, what's going to make this really exciting? How can I make this like super interesting? You just need to literally like tell a story with it, and it would be so good. But I have a feeling that it feels like also one of those ideas that they've had for a really long time and sat on. It's also, it's like, you know, when you like draw something and you're like, I could just add a little line in there. I'll ruin it. Like, it feels like that's what they're going to do with it.
I think they're going to take it too far. I think it's going to be a teen movie. I feel like they're going to find a way to fuck it up. Yeah. I hope they don't. I'm just trying to think of some other recent zombie films. We've said about Ravenous, which we watched quite recently. Yeah. What ones that have come out? You type in...
Oh, Train to Busan.
Of course. Which is interesting, because that's not entirely about like a new concept or being different. It's good because that has a point to make about motherhood. Yeah. Motherhood, not fatherhood. Motherhood.
What, Train to Busan?
Yeah.
It's the dad.
That's very true. Parenthood.
Motherhood, not fatherhood.
But it's a lot about her mother as well. They mention her mother quite a lot, and there's the pregnant woman's one of the main characters, and the main guy.
It's a lot about motherhood, but
it's still a guy.
It's not a female.
It's still the dad,
character.
Well, then the mother, the woman who's pregnant, is pretty badass, isn't it?
Yeah. She is.
2017, Zombie Films 2017. Yeah, that's a very good one because that has a point, and it's a great film. Yeah. But it doesn't try to be more than what it is, which is a fucking crazy. The zombies are more like World War Z zombies where they sprint, but it's all based on... I think my favourite thing about it is the action. I love the fucking thrill of it. Yeah. In terms of
It's so well done. Yeah, and there's bits where you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah. And then we obviously watched the sequel, which is animated. And on YouTube, if you want to go watch the sequel, which is called Soul Station. Yeah. Which I don't like as
not as
much.
Good, which I am disappointed with, because I actually thought we might even like it more, because we love a good animation,
But again, it was very interesting how it did the zombies, because again, instead of just being an outbreak that just took over, you actually see where it kicks off in this. it goes from nothing to something in this, which is what they don't tend to do, which is showing how the zombies outbreak.
Yeah.
And it takes quite a bit of a dig at society of how it outbreaks. Obviously, it's to do with the homeless.
Yeah.
In Seoul.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Seoul when I say it.
Seoul.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
What other zombie films we watched? Zombievers.
Yeah. We watched Zombievers. No, we didn't. Zombies. What can I think? There must be.
Ash vs Evil Dead's probably zombie stuff, but we haven't watched it.
No.
Cargo's already on.
We did watch. We did watch Evil Dead recently as well, though. Even though it's like super old, it just made me. I think that's probably why I feel like there's even more because we just watched that too.
I've typed in zombie movies shows. iZombie was another show. Warm Body as well was another one where they tried to take a genre and.
I don't know that.
What Warm Body?
Yeah.
That's the one with the dude who plays Beast in X-Men, the guy in Mad Max, skinny guy.
Oh yeah.
Why is his name gone from my head? I think that's him.
His name is.
Is it got Jennifer Lawrence as well? No, it's got someone. Warm Bodies was about.
They dated, so maybe that might be where they met. If he's in it, Nicholas something.
Well, I'm gonna see if it actually is him.
What's his name? Nicholas.
But.
Blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's annoying. I can't remember his name. And he's in Warm.
I think it is. I don't know if it is.
Is that a series or is that
Nicholas
a film?
Hoult?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's him, and that was a film.
Oh, it's a film.
I'm pretty sure.
That sounds like Warm Bodies. Sounds like a vampire thing. Even though they're cold.
He's different. Basically, he's a good zombie. Especially a post-apocalyptic world, but he's a good zombie. It's actually meant to be alright, but I remember it looked like a teen movie when it came out, so I never watched it. But that's another one I try to change it up, giving it a good zombie instead of just being.
I'd like to watch that. Oh, he's a good
zombie. Yeah, he's a zombie who isn't evil. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you were saying he's like good at playing a zombie or he's like a good person.
He's a good zombie. He goes.
He's a good zombie.
Really well.
I really thought he was dead and alive again.
Dead Snow. I'm joking. The Girl with the Gifts, which we didn't watch, but that was meant to be
we were
interesting.
going to watch that for this and we forgot.
Yeah, we did.
Bad people.
We didn't have very long, so get over it. We were too busy watching 13 Reasons Why This Program Is So Offensive. So anyone who
we should have done an episode on that actually.
Still one-off Christmas special.
A short video on that would be good because
someone has already done one on that. I need to show you because it's funny.
I have some stuff to say about that. Not happy with that series at all.
Girl with All the Gifts.
Yeah, that did well, didn't it?
Like it did. When they shot the cinema, I'm pretty sure.
Critically,
I think it did alright.
Critically.
Interesting again with zombie genres, there tends to be a kid, like you said with children, and there tends to always be a kid that they're trying to save. And in that, it looks like there's a little girl who they want to save.
Yeah.
Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse is more of a jokey one. It's either now, if you're going to do a zombie, anything that's good now, it's either you do a zombie film and you add a new concept, you try and change stuff up, or you go full on fuck this and you make it jokey. Like Ash vs Evil Dead, and then I imagine Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse was like that. That had a fucking awesome poster, if you remember.
Oh, did it?
It was like a really 80s style poster.
Oh, yes, I do remember that.
Oh.
Yeah, I remember that.
Is that the kid from... Isn't that really playing one kid?
I don't know. That was only like
it's
a year and a half ago, wasn't it, that?
Ty Sheridan. I think it was older than that. Oh. We were both definitely working at the cinema when it was out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the kid from Ready Player One.
I remember that being like a year and a half ago, that poster.
I'm trying to find the year now as I look at it. 2015.
No.
Yeah.
Seriously?
It's been quite a while away.
God, I would have thought it was only about a year and a half ago.
Zomboobies?
I just said it like 3 times.
We didn't watch Zomboobies.
Zomboobies?
Zomboobies.
Oh my god, that's dire.
Christ. There was Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't that based on a book as well?
Yeah.
There's not really... I mean, none that we... There was... You say about Old Man with a zombie.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
What? Maggie? No.
It was, I never watched it. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger and the girl from Zombieland, which is quite funny because she's a zombie in this.
Looks terrible. Zombieland.
I think it's a nice poster. The younger girl from Zombieland.
Yeah. I remember. That was terrifying. Please never zoom in on a zombie and turn it around again. It really scared me. No, the poster's lovely. I'm saying the film looks terrible.
But again, Tell me that's not inspired by Last of Us.
Yeah.
Again, I think it was an old man protecting his daughter. That was only 2015. A teenage girl in the Midwest becomes infected by an outbreak of a disease that slowly turns the infected into cannibalistic zombies. That was such a long description for that one.
Seriously.
But during her transformation, her loving father stays by her side. It's always, again, it's the father.
That's the
scene.
father, yeah. What was that?
Wait, it's the
flipping
Cure out?
Amazing film, that Australian film.
That wasn't zombies.
That
but
was the end of the world. No, but it was him and a little girl.
It wasn't looking after around with a guy of The Nice Guys.
What was that called?
Here's a way of finding out. The Nice Guys cast.
Yeah, do
Click
that.
on- Is that her? Because that looks nothing like her in that
Let me
picture.
see.
That first picture.
Yes, her.
Nothing like her.
Is it?
These final hours.
That's it.
Posters even him carrying her.
That was. Oh.
The Cured.
That
is
was
on
one
this
of
list
those films that really stays with you after, I think.
It's because the end of the world and you see the world ending, which
Yeah.
is always pretty. The Cured
Melancholia.
was apparently 2017, so
Oh.
maybe
So
we
it's
just
probably out.
didn't show it.
Yeah.
64% Rotten Tomatoes. So it probably was shit.
Yeah.
See this is what I mean about it being a good thing. After years of zombie plague that ravaged Europe, humanity grapples with how to reintegrate the former zombies into society.
Great.
From that description,
Fantastic
that's
idea.
all right.
Seriously.
I can't think of many more.
Oh.
When I say think of any more, I can't see many on this list
On the internet.
that we watched. But yeah, they're always either like an our dad looking after someone, or
Yeah.
they do come up with some sort of original idea. But I find the plots very, very even though the ideas change, the plots stay the same. Which is they go on a path where they bump into people, and there'll be one person who's probably a bit psychotic, but it takes like a second for them to realise it. It's usually a man who meets it. Do you know who Vic reminded me of? He reminded me of the dude from War of the Worlds. When Tom Cruise goes into the bunker and he's alright with that guy, and that guy kind of loses it.
Oh, yeah.
It's always that kind of always happens, and then they always bump into more people.
Yeah.
They've started always bumping into two old ladies.
I can
or
understand why, because you know that some people would be idiots and react like that.
Yeah.
But
I'd like to see. I
So
think The
do
Last
you.
of Us is pretty good with it. I'd like to see, or a bit more brutal than that. I'd like to see a zombie film from the perspective of someone who doesn't give a fuck and will just shoot anyone they meet, and just will be more betraying.
yeah.
And the villain of the film. I'd like to see Walter White in a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
I don't like that is what I mean. Like, I'd like to see someone who isn't like trusting of anyone. Is the one to sort of fuck people over for their own survival. Because because at the moment I find that that's what for me what lets Cargo down is, even though it's great and it's very well done. The plot again is the same about saving children, and is about we bump into people down the road and stuff happens to those people that are dead by the end, or they.
Yeah.
It just the plot always feels the same. It never feels like anything interesting happens. They never get themselves into a situation where it's really exciting.
And people always like die at a really convenient time.
Yeah.
Like that Cargo would have been crazy
situation.
if he'd like just died on the way before he'd even had a chance to say like, if I don't make it, can you look after her? If he just gone.
Just gone. Yeah.
But
I think Last of Us kicked off this whole like zombie father figure thing, and then I think that it kind of stopped a bit, and then I think Logan has just like exploded it again, like massively.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think
That'll probably do about zombie films, won't it? Should we talk about some news?
Yeah. So
Should we talk about some?
Oh, I'm trying to think of a really good way of doing it.
Well, you just burn in time now.
News.
That was terrible.
That was not a good way, but it was a way.
That was
tell you
terrible.
That. I have some news.
Yeah?
I have some startling news.
What is it?
It's not startling. I have news that it's very exciting news. Liam Neeson is taking on a role in a new Men in Black spin-off, so that sounds terrible. Can't wait for that to never be something that I watch.
Christ almighty.
Sounds horrific.
That sounds like the best thing in the world.
Terrible
I don't know what
news.
you're talking about.
Absolutely terrible news. Ryan Reynolds starring in a new Michael Bay film, which I'm not psyched about because
6 Underground? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Don't know what it's to be like. It's funny that he takes the piss out of. He's now Deadpool and he takes the piss out of everything
Well, that's
shit.
what I mean.
And now
Yeah,
he's gonna be in a.
I know. That's why I'm not really that happy about that. Not great. More people joining the John Wick 3 cast as well.
Yep.
Halle Berry.
Yep.
You've
I
got
think
it
it's
on
going to
your
be
phone.
her character from.
Oh.
It's going to be her character from Kidnap.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Yeah, Angelica Houston and Asia Kate Dillon, who I don't know. I don't know who that is.
I was kind of hoping they'd get. I can't remember her name. The final one from Matrix. She's in Jessica Jones, so you know she's still acting.
Oh, yeah.
Because then they'd have all 3 from the Matrix in it, which would be amazing.
Wait, you mean which one from Matrix?
Her name's gone from my head.
What, Jessica's mum?
Yeah. Wait,
Oh.
not Jessica's mum. Jessica's mum.
I don't know who you're talking about. You said she's in Jessica Jones. Who's she playing,
She's
Jessica Jones?
Hogarth. Carrie Ann Moss.
Oh, Doy.
Trinity.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
It feels like she's already in it because obviously the other 2 are.
Oh, I know
In
something. Jake Gyllenhaal haven't they confirmed he's going to be
As soon as
Spider-Man?
he's in
villain?
talks, and so they've confirmed it, yes. And he's also playing. I can't remember who he's playing.
Hang on, I've got it here. Mysterio.
It is Mysterio. I was gonna say,
Oh, it says. Well, 2 days ago it said he could be Mysterio in Spider-Man.
I went to say Mysterio. I was like, no, it's a wrestler. And they went, no, I think it is Mysterio. Yeah, it is Mysterio.
Yeah.
He's a weird ass character in the comics I've read.
Oh, really? What
yes.
is, I don't know what he's like.
It's a villain. It's from what I've read, just a villain. He's very tricky.
Alright. What's this that David Tennant and Catherine Tate are starring in? Americans, I don't know what that is.
That was years ago.
I know, but it said, no, they're in something new together. They're starring a new, comedy drama called Americans. I'd be interested
you
to
just
see
pronounced
that.
Americans wrong.
No, it's C-O-N. Not much is known about the story, though it will apparently follow the pair as they move to the States.
Oh. I heard lots of news this week and it's all gone from my head.
Oh dear.
You probably should have watched the Mowgli trailer.
Yeah, I was going to say. It's Andy Serkis, isn't it?
Who's doing it? Yeah. Weird time to release this since we've not had Jungle Book very long ago. I mean, it was a couple of years, but it's not too long ago that we've now got another Jungle Book film about Mowgli.
There's also going to be a second Lego movie, isn't there?
Yes, which I'm excited about if it's anything
They've
like
just
the
announced
first.
the title. Let's see what it is.
I've seen it already.
What is it?
I think it's just called The Second Part.
Oh.
The Lego movie, The Second Part.
Spin-off, the Lego movie, and the second part. Okay.
Yeah.
That's underwhelming.
I think that's pretty much
I
all
guess
of your
that's
news. We
fine.
just smashed that
I
out
also
fast.
saw, really strangely, something about Jennifer Aniston playing the president.
You didn't see it? You mean you thought it up in your head from
It was in
research?
a dream that I had? No. Let me see. This is new British school comedy film. We'll find her working in the Oval Office, married to Tig Notaro as Netflix picks up First Ladies. Huh. I don't know, but that sounds very strange. Mowgli trailer we should have watched. We have no real
go watch it
news.
for yourself. We don't know what it's like. Probably
Yeah,
like
we don't
Jungle
have
Book.
to tell you everything.
Alright, that was our second last one for. We're doing one last one next week, and then we're taking a break to do some other creative things because we're creative people.
Yeah.
Solo next week. Do you know what that song on Rotten Tomatoes? Did I tell you?
What?
Did I tell you what that song on Rotten Tomatoes?
No, you didn't.
71%.
That's terrible.
It's not great. It was always going to get slated. Even if it's amazing, it was going to get trashed. Cause
I guess, yeah.
Of all the stuff leading up to it.
Yeah.
Peace out. See you next week for the last one. Listen in. Give us as much views as
And
you
happy
think more,
birthday,
please.
Leo. This is Leo's
Not my
birthday
birthday,
on
don't lie.
Saturday. It's going to be 53. Looks good.
Going to be 53.
I said
Tone of the voice.
53, not 93. And
Alright.
you're not from Yorkshire.
Bye bye.
Bye.